and welcome to One on One. My name is Jess Brady. We are at the Bull and Barrel here in London filming this month's episode. We're talking all about Country Music Week, CCMA Awards, and we are joined by Jessica Mitchell.
Hello, everybody.
Local country music star.
Oh, yes. I don't know if I'd call myself that yet, but
well,
thank
I
you.
will, so I mean, it's okay. You don't have to say it, I'll say it for you.
Very sweet, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And so there's lots of very exciting things happening, first of all, with you and also in London in the next little while.
Yeah, there is. I know. I'm very happy that Country Music Week was decided to be here. It's
how
so
cool
great
is that?
It's great for the city. It really honestly is.
Absolutely. And I want to talk a little bit more about that, like as we keep going here, because obviously that's what we're here to do.
Yeah.
But I want people at home to learn a little bit about you first, and how you came into this industry.
What do you want to know?
Your name's popping up, your songs out there. You know, you're blowing up, which is fantastic. But for people who don't know, tell me a little bit about your history, because you came to London when you were about 5.
I did.
Born in Toronto. And how did you, get into music? Was it always a thing for you growing up? Did you always enjoy it?
I mean, you could talk to my family just as easily and find out that I spent most of my childhood running around singing Disney songs and, you know, being very vocally music inclined. And I actually was mostly into sports. I was an athlete I was a competitive swimmer for years, and that was something that came about first. But eventually, I think music, as I started sort of writing poetry and started getting into that side of things, it just kind of grew from there. My dad taught me a couple of chords on the guitar when I was a wee babe, and it just kind of went from there, yeah.
Awesome. One of the things I wanted to ask you about was, like musical inspirations and people that have influenced you.
Yeah, it's such a tough question because I grew up with rock music, and like when I started kind of coming into my own and listening to my own music, I was really into Radiohead and Nine Inch Nails, and got really into Sheryl Crow, and then kind of slowly moved towards the Jewels and the singer-songwriters sort of the 90s. Yeah, Lilith Fair kind of stuff. And when I started playing guitar, you know, it was something that I would sit in my room and learn how to play. And yeah, I don't know where it all kind of took a turn, but the heavier music was the stuff that I always related to the most. I was going through a lot at the time, and divorce and you know, families not getting along and things, and that kind of was how I got my anger out. And then it got more softer as time went on. So
it's cathartic, right? I mean,
yeah.
It's like, as you said, you know, poetry when you were a little bit younger.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's those creative outlets that people can tap into that, you know, not only are expressing their angst in that moment or whatever those emotions are, but it's who they are as a person that it helps them kind of to find that. Right?
100%, yeah. And I also have spent a good chunk of my life being very emotional and relating to emotional things a lot more than other things. That's not to say that I didn't dance around to the Spice Girls or to the Backstreet Boys, or who didn't. Yeah, exactly. But the emotional stuff has always been something that I have been drawn to more than anything else. I think music for a really long time kind of lost its way. Not all music, but there was a good chunk of music that sort of lost its way for a while there, and became more a product of our own environment versus, you know, people who really were writing about their lives and were singing about their lives. And I'm very happy to see that people are embracing that a lot more now, because that's what I love about music. That's the thing that I love the most about music, is that it's autobiographical. It's something that is telling a story. And that's the most important thing to me, is to tell my story through song and through life, you know, like just in general. I've always been very open and very honest about who I am and where I come from. And you know, this city is a large part of my upbringing, so.
And so, you know, speaking of London, you know, you grew up here. You
I
spent
did.
a lot of time here.
A lot of time.
Family was here, and
Yep.
your mom. You know, I've read a little bit about that, and that her passing. I'm very sorry about that.
Oh, it's okay. It's good.
But
It's all good.
her passing really had an impact on you in terms of your decision to move forward with your musical career?
Yeah, I think for a long time, you know, we as a family in general got sort of stuck with not knowing what exactly to do with the information that we were given. She was always very, you know, positive and very honest, and, you know, really wanted things to just be the same and didn't want anything to change. And my sister and her very much so kind of lived in that world, and I've always been more of a realist, so I kind of always knew what was coming. But that being said, I was kind of at a time where I had hooked up with Slate Music, and shortly before all of this came about, and when she passed, when she died, it was like kind of a kick in the ass. It was like sort of a kick in the butt, sorry. Donkey. It was a kick in the donkey.
You know what?
It was a bit of a kick in the butt, just because I think we all sort of realized that might have been something that was holding me back a little bit. And just because you want to take care of your family, and you want to, you know, really take care of the people around you, and help everyone go through this as much as you're going through it, no matter how everyone is taking it. But when she passed away, it was like, okay, like I think it's time. There was almost like this sense that I had from her, you know, whatever the afterlife is, you know, it was like a sense from her being like, okay, it's okay now, you know, go, yeah, like go and do your thing, you know, you're free, so to speak. Which isn't a negative thing. I think it was very freeing. It was very freeing. And yeah, and then amazing things started happening.
I was gonna say, it's been a bit of a whirlwind,
yeah, like
hasn't
the
it?
last 4 years, like it'll be 4 years in October, which is crazy to think.
Yeah.
It's been 4 years, but great things have happened. You know, I signed a publishing deal. I signed a management deal. I've written like 250 songs in the last 4 years. Like it's really nuts how life works sometimes, and how the most sad things sometimes turn into the greatest things that have ever happened to you.
It's true. It's like you go from 0 to 100 like real quick.
Yeah.
And speaking of maybe a speed metaphor, we're talking about something that happened earlier this year in the spring, sitting in your car in a parking lot, and you hear a certain song come on the radio.
I heard a song come on the radio, yeah.
Country 104 here in London.
My single, Working on Whiskey, I did get slightly tipped off. I got tipped off a little bit, being like, you might want to turn the radio on. And I was like, okay, so I did. And I was pulled over in a parking lot in Stratford on my way to a show opening for Kiefer Sutherland. And I pulled my camera out. I didn't think anything of it. I really didn't. I thought nothing of it. I was just going to record the moment.
Yeah.
And then, you know, all of a sudden Weaver from Country 104 is talking to me through the radio, and I just couldn't help it. I mean, I'm a crier in general, but...
You're saying a little on the emotional side, which is nothing wrong with that.
I just can't help it. I cry about everything all the time. But yeah, that happened, and I posted it on Facebook,
and it went viral.
Whatever viral means, yeah. You know, it's great. It was great. A lot of people watched it, and I think a lot of people related more to the fact that it was such a human moment. You know, it was such a moment of humanity for me. Very vulnerable. I was very vulnerable in that moment as well. Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
And London's own Jessica Mitchell has a show in Stratford tonight with Kiefer Sutherland. Pretty cool stuff. We also just found out that Jess is going to be part of the CCMA Songwriter Series with Genevieve Fisher. Details at country104.com. We are also told that Jess is in the car right now driving to Stratford for the show at the Masonic Hall tonight. And when Boss Brad came in the room, he said, Jess says, say hello to her. Hi, Jess. You listening?
Hi, Weaver.
We're going to play your new single right now. Jessica Mitchell's Working on Whiskey, Country 104.
Never loved the way that I loved you. It left a mark like an old tattoo.
song particularly means the most to me, I think, out of all of the songs, out of all my little song babies. This song shines through in a way for me that no other song does, strictly because it's probably one of the most honest songs that I've ever written with anyone, and I wrote that with Dwayne Thompson and Patricia Conroy, and Dwayne did a fabulous job producing it. We pulled that together so quickly after the CMAO Awards, which I'm so grateful for them for everything that they've, the opportunity that they created for me in that moment. But yeah, it's such a song, man. That song is like everything to me, and the person that I wrote it about, you know, he knows and he's heard it, and he's, you know, I think that's the coolest part, is that we're cool. There's no animosity in that song whatsoever. But hearing it sort of broadcasting throughout the country, you know, not just locally, but throughout the country, I think that's when things start to hit you right in the gut, where you're like, oh my God, it's the West Coast and they're listening to it, and the East Coast is listening to it, and you start to realize that your home really is your home, and you love your home so much, you know, not just locally, but nationally. And yeah, there's nothing like it. There's no better feeling than that.
It's fantastic, and there's so many other great things that are coming up. You know, you're nominated for CCMA Awards.
Yep.
Fantastic. There's so much to talk about. We're running out of time.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
No, not at all.
Talk a lot.
No, it's fantastic, and everyone's getting a really great in-depth look at who you are and your music.
Thank you.
And just a little fun part of the show we like to do at the
Okay.
end. Fast facts.
Done.
Keep it really fast.
Let's do it.
So it's just things that you would rather versus blah blah blah.
Okay.
So here, you ready?
I'm not good at these things. Okay,
First thing,
go.
burger versus pizza.
Oh my God, that's so hard. Pizza.
Good choice. Let's see, Beatles versus Rolling Stones.
Ooh, the Stones.
Ooh, no, it's a
Yeah,
good one.
the Stones.
If you had to pick a friend, Betty or Veronica?
Veronica.
Nice. She'll hook you up with all the cool
Contrast.
stuff. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Puppies versus kittens.
That's so hard. Kittens. I feel bad. I feel like I'm like abandoning puppies everywhere.
Let's see, wine or beer?
Oh, wine.
I should have said whiskey.
Hands down.
Should have said whiskey.
Whiskey is a second.
Okay.
It's a second choice.
There we
It's
go.
high up there.
And last one, favorite place to go on vacation?
What's a vacation? I haven't been on one of those in 6 years, but I really, really, really love Chicago, actually.
Me too.
I love Chicago
It's a
so
great place.
much. Yeah, I went to Lollapalooza there like years ago, and it was my favorite. I loved
Fabulous.
it. Yeah.
Very good. Very, very last thing, not fast facts, but if people want to find out what you're up to, social media, where should they go?
I have a website where you can see all of the things, all of the tour dates and stuff. It's jessicamitchellmusic.com. And then I'm on the Twitters and the Instagrams and the Facebooks, and
Wonderful.
I'm all over the internet.
Excellent.
can find
All
me.
of the things. You're
All of
there.
them.
Well, Jessica, thank you so much for
Thank
being
you for
here
having
today.
me.
Oh, it's lovely chatting with you.
Thank you.
We need to take a quick break, but we will be right back with Maria Botrell.